Hey y'all, it's me, I2I35, aka Josiah David, and welcome to another episode of the Correcting SolRosenberg84 series, where I plan on reviewing every single one of Mike's videos, all the way from the beginning till the end. And nothing says quite like responding to a rude gutter-talking brother who really hates Christians just because he was raised in Catholicism, though Catholicism is not Christian by any historical or biblical perspective, and it's really given him a flawed, erroneous and deceitful image of Christianity, thinking it's all bad, when actually true Christianity is really good, but that's a whole nother story. And this one is titled Extra Points on the Historicity of Jesus. Well, I have to say, he travels down a lot of rabbit trails, and this one is too. And look, I want to say again, Mike, personally, I don't care what your basic beliefs are regarding the world around you, because they're epically wrong. Alright, and I just think you ought to just simply take a look at the evidence that has been confirmed in so much areas, not just science. But anyway, this is what he has to say about it.
Not even fundamental Christians, but many moderate Christians love to tote about is the idea of a historical Jesus to prove Christianity. And
well, we don't make stuff up, okay? And like literally, there was a literal Jesus, and just like it was recorded in the Bible, he did everything he did. Like, it's not just only recorded in the Bible. There's eyewitness accounts written down by other records by people from other countries long ago. For example, the crucifixion records, they actually show the evidence of one they crucified called Yeshua or Jesus, something like that.
Now I realize what it was. My main point was arguing against the idea that you can use history to prove supernatural events. I find this to be ridiculous.
Well, let's run out history. What if there has been supernatural events? Look, here's the thing. People like to try to say, why is there no evidence of Jesus' miracles? Well, the point is, a miracle would not leave evidence. But a judgment would, just like, Noah's flood. If God told all the wicked people in the world to die, but let Noah remain alive, he wanted to send a flood, because that would help warn and inform future generations that, God hates sin and all. But all that evidence is being twisted and distorted as a proof of evolution, and SolRosenberg goes on a false analogy talking about two battles, and here's the climax.
And they conquered an empire that way. Which one of these stories sounds automatically more plausible? It's the first one. You know why? Because it fits the rules of reality, the ones that we're used to, the ones which exist in the real world, the one we're living in right now, and not simply history.
Yes, everything now is in reality, and the reality is, miracles still do happen. I mean, miracles have been happening all over the world. Like, I mean, God is alive, and because miracles happen every single day. You and I are walking miracles. Like, I agree with you. We want to pursue reality, but I don't think that word reality should really applies for evolutionists using it, because reality is totally and continuously contradicting their cheap wishful thinking.
To say that we have the perfect historical record right now is because we do not have all the evidence. Some evidence has been destroyed. Some evidence has been forcibly removed. Shit happens, really.
Yes, I agree with you. A lot of history has been destroyed, but this is really fishy. Something's really fishy. Whenever it comes to evidence talking about Christ or Jesus, people don't want to see the evidence. They might even twist and distort the evidence and make corrupt textbooks right now saying there's no evidence for Jesus, but they would agree that Alexander the Great exists. They would agree that Siddhartha Gautama, the unintentional founder of Buddhism, existed. But they don't. Those guys were much older than Christ, but they don't think Jesus existed, mainly because they've already got a prior commitment, because the message of the gospel of Christ exposes people's sin, and people don't like that. People just don't like that, The heart's deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, And I'm going to say something very important at the end of this. He keeps going on a lot of false analogies.
What you're really doing when you say that, I know there's no proof of my religion right now, but deep in the past there's a dude who could do magical and you use the New Testament as evidence. What you're really doing is hiding your religion in the annals of history. And
look, first when we quote a verse from the Bible, or even using the New Testament for the historicity of Jesus, there is such a thing as a line in the sand. I might talk about this in another video. It's a perfect line in the sand. For example, it says Jesus turned the water into wine. We can't find the evidence of that, but we can find some eyewitness written records by some other people who had no part in writing the Bible. They could actually say they met the same man, and he actually turned water into wine. I mean, you can believe a certain passage in the Bible by faith, and that's fine. But there's a lot out in the world that actually confirm and prove and have evidence that it actually did exist. You don't just have to believe it by faith alone. Okay, and, there's no proof for my religion. There's no proof for any religion. All religions are false. But the gospel of Christ, the message of it, opposite to religion. Theologically, philosophically, and spiritually, and truthfully, and according to reality.
If you want to argue that Jesus existed, and you want to start using historical evidence to argue that fact, you can do that. But to argue that the supposed supernatural things he did happened via historical context is nonsensical.
Okay, you saying it doesn't work. Well, we might want to show that evidence to you, but again, a miracle would not leave evidence, but a judgment would, okay? And if you really want to find, the real history of Jesus, you can view Nowhere to Run 148 video, this guy's videos, Nowhere to Run 148, his videos. Did Jesus exist? Like from part 1 to part 4. He goes through specific things, and he gives good advice that whatever we're told in classroom, Jesus didn't exist, we shouldn't just blatantly accept it and take for granted what we've been told. We actually ought to search it out for ourselves, okay? And I say people like SolRosenberg84 are already acting out like what they've been told and been told what to think, okay? So, again, there's evidence for Jesus, and there can be evidence for his miracles, because, yeah, we can use the New Testament because it's a perfect line in the sand. And also, for another example, is that we can use eyewitnessing records from other people who lived at that time. And I have to say, I don't want people thinking that these Jewish people were like, primitive or whatever. Back then, people were a lot smarter and meticulous. Today, people are not really smart and not really meticulous, okay? And so they were real meticulous recorders of facts. They were not dumb. They knew what they saw, okay? And I don't think anything can disprove Jesus. There's no evidence to disprove he ever has. And I just want to also say that the guy who directed Avatar, James Cameron, you fail. I can't believe that you take part in heathenism or playing the occult and disagreeing on the historicity, like supporting all this, especially Ron Howard, all these directors that I cannot believe that they are devoting their time, energy, and money to support a lie that Jesus didn't exist. They're totally ignorant of all the evidence, just like Mike, SolRosenberg84. So, that's all I have to say for this video. Peace out, keep thinking, Jesus bless you, and TTFN Tata for now, and you can watch Nowhere to Run's videos on Did Jesus Exist, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 for yourself. See you later.